It's been said that Steven Universe is about relationships and family in all their forms. In fact, Rebecca Sugar once said that the core of Steven Universe is about her relationship with her brother, and the gems are reflections of some piece of that relationship. But who is Steven Universe? Sure, we all know him as a selfless, caring young boy who, throughout the show, has put everyone else first, with his main goal being to become the person his family wants him to be. Steven has done a great deal of exploring his magical gem powers, but in this video, I thought I'd take a look at the more human side of Steven to find out just what makes him tick and how he thinks about the world around him. First, we need to explore how Steven interprets the world around him. His understanding of this massive world parallels that of the audience, which was a deliberate move made by the Crewniverse. This is a show made for a young audience, possibly around the same age as Steven. Since the show unfolds from the perspective of Steven, it was important to the writers to write within those confines so that the viewers see and learn things just as Steven does. Steven has a natural sense of curiosity about the world around him, and as a young child would do, he is restless with constantly trying to find answers. In fact, he'd go to great lengths and defy the advice of his caregivers to find answers, much like a young child of the same age would do. To keep the audience on the same pace as Steven, the show tends to do what is known as a slow reveal, which allows for the viewers to develop their own connections with these characters as Steven's relationship with them also strengthens. It's very smart and something that doesn't happen too often in animated shows made for children. One of the core foundations of Steven Universe is love and tolerance, which is also a core characteristic of Steven himself. We've seen him display both love and tolerance various times, even at times where it was least expected. He's shown great tolerance with Peridot during the early days, even with Centipedal and one of the Rubies. Steven's sense of tolerance is something that undoubtedly stems from his mother. Though his mother wasn't there in his life, he was nurtured by his father and 3 surrogate mothers, who all knew his mother. He was surrounded by love growing up and never experienced any significant loss in his life to this point. Sure, his mother is gone, but he never knew his mother, so it's hard for him to really develop a bond with someone he never knew. Another characteristic of Steven is his lack of self-awareness. On numerous occasions, Steven has shown us that he doesn't care what others might think about him. We've seen him wear a dress and sing in front of the entire town of Beach City, after all. One of the stark contrasts between Steven's lack of self-awareness is Lars. Lars, before he became a motherfucking star boy, he was a brooding, overly self-aware teenager who cared about how he was perceived by others. Pairing Steven with Lars in episodes was the Crewniverse's way of showing the viewing audience that being yourself around others is something you should always do. If people around you don't accept you for who you truly are and all your quirks, there more than likely aren't people you'd want within your inner circle to begin with. One of the smart ways the Crewniverse did this is by having the archetypes for cool showcased with the cool kids, and having Steven being his quirky, odd self in front of them, and them accepting him for who he is. And one of the smart things the show did was have Steven possess Lars in the New Lars episode to show how no matter how different you might be, those who really like you for who you are will accept you. Love, tolerance, selflessness, caring. These are the composition that make up the character known as Steven Universe. How can we all be more like Steven? As human beings, we're all capable of all these feelings and emotions. But ultimately, there are things outside of our control that may cause us to lack some of these feelings and emotions. The variable can be a number of things. There are a fair amount of adults that watch Steven Universe, and they're more than likely set in their ways at this point. But the children that currently watch the show, that are growing up at the same pace as Steven, well, they have a chance to be the embodiment of a human being to the fullest. It's an archetype we all honestly can achieve, but it'll take practice and thought on a daily basis. We'll need to learn how to be more caring and more selfless, more tolerant, more Steven. It won't be easy for us to be this perfect archetype, but if every pork chop were in fact perfect, well, what's the saying, Steven?
We wouldn't have hot dogs!
That's right, we wouldn't have hot dogs. So the only thing us hot dogs can do is try to be the best we possibly can be. Think about what makes Steven the character we all love, and try to implement some of those characteristics. Hopefully this video was able to give you some insight on what it takes to think like Steven. I'd love to know your thoughts on this and how you'd go about being more like Steven. And if there's any human characteristics I left out that you believe Steven also possesses, leave a comment and let me know down below what it is. If this is your first time here on my channel, please drop a like and subscribe for more content such as this. Thank you all for watching, and until next time, I will see you guys in the next one, friends. Peace.